Guess what I did? Take a guess. Yes, I am back from the Chicago Marathon. I finished the race, got home, and now I can finally feel my legs again, and my mysterious post-race sickness has finally gone away, so I can film this video. And after all this training that I've been doing and talking about going to Chicago, it didn't actually hit me that I had to go to Chicago and run the marathon until Friday. It's Friday. The race is on Sunday. Why is my throat hurt? That's awesome. I started my carb load yesterday. So far, feel kind of horrible. I decided to use this like calculator on like how much you should carb load, and basically it told me to eat like 500 grams of carbs a day. I ate 400 yesterday. I feel like someone stuck a tire inflator in me and just pumped it up. I think the difference is this time I'm trying to eat like healthier carbs, like sweet potato and rice and stuff, but now I'm just eating a lot of like potato and rice, and it's kind of like sickening. It's not like fun carb load like what I thought it was gonna be. It's kind of like gross carb load. But in the video I was watching of the girl telling me how to do it, she was wearing a Boston Marathon jacket, so I trust her. Well, let's go to Chicago. Also, yesterday I wanted to get new shoes for like walking around the city and stuff, and Andrew bought me some, and we got matching ones actually. Also, this is my shirt. My mom got this for me. I love this shirt, but I only wear it at home because it says artistic, and I'm scared someone's gonna think it says autistic because that's what I thought it said when I first wore it, which it's fine, you can be autistic, but I just wouldn't want it like labeled on a shirt because then people are, I don't know, gonna be like, you autistic? And I'll be like, no, I don't think so. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll ask if... Look at my pink shoes. And Andrew... So they're not in the box. I don't know where he put them. Hang on. Here's his. We're gonna match. It's 7 a.m. right now. My brother is picking us up at 10:30 to go to the airport, and then we will be off to Chicago. We're getting there kind of early because we both are paranoid people. I'd rather just sit and wait at the airport, because if I don't, I'm gonna just sit and wait at home because I'm gonna be all anxious and I won't be able to do anything at home, so I might as well go sit and do nothing at the airport. Friday, went to the airport with my brother Trevor and my fiance Andrew, who are coming to support me. And somehow our really short, like 2-hour flight ended up taking the entire day between driving around on the tarmac for just an hour and then driving around on the tarmac when we got there too. So it took us all day Friday to get there. But when we got to Chicago, I was like, why is this city kind of beautiful? Why did no one tell me that it looked like this? It was just a beautiful city. I was like, why is it so clean and nice and pretty? I've never been to a city that is city and clean and pretty, but it was. No one told me that about Chicago. Why did no one tell me that? Not much happened Friday night except for I DoorDashed us some burgers, except I was so busy asking Andrew and Trevor what they wanted and like customizing their burgers that I forgot to ask myself what I wanted, and I just ended up DoorDashing them burgers and forgot to get myself one. So I did not have a burger. I just bought burgers. I did have a sickening cookie though. It was a thick cookie. It tasted like the word gluttony would probably taste. Anyway, Saturday it was expo day, which getting into the expo super smooth. That was running nice. The expo itself though was packed, like just crammed full of people, but it was nice. There was a ton of booths. Nike had a huge booth at the front, of course, with their very, very blue merch this year. And they set it up so that your bib pickup is at the very start and then the shirt pickup is at the very end. So you got to go all the way through the expo. They force you to walk all the way through and see everything, which I was going to do anyways. The one line I did stand in for sure was the line to get a picture with the scary Chiquita banana. And they also did give you a free banana, which I really wanted. Though when the lady handed it to me, it was really warm. Though I think everyone's bananas were warm because I heard every time she would hand it to someone, they'd be like, whoa, whoa. It was my breakfast though before the race, so thank you for the warm banana. There was a lot of merch that I saw online on Reddit that I wanted to get that was sold out by the time I get there, specifically New Balance stuff, but that's expected because I went on day 3. I did get this really cool Saucony shirt though. Hang on. Isn't it cool? It feels really nice. Apparently it's a men's shirt, but I just grabbed whatever because there just wasn't much left. Now, the day before a marathon, you're supposed to relax. I did clock a good 15,000 steps because I just wanted to go around Chicago so much, and like everything is so close. So I was like, let's walk to dinner. I don't want to pay for an Uber for that. Let's walk to Uniqlo. I need to go there. Let's walk back to the hotel with our tons of Uniqlo. So I did a lot of walking, which is not advised. Nothing compared to the mistake I made right before we went to bed the night before the marathon. See, I had this really smart idea at the time. I was like, let's do the architecture tour where you get on a boat and it drives to the river and it shows you the city. I was like, let's do the night one. There's like an 8 p.m. one or something. I was like, that'd be so nice. A nice, relaxing last activity to do before I go to bed before the marathon, and I don't have to walk to do it. You know, it's like a nice, chill thing. I got in line for the boat and they were like, this isn't your boat. I was in line for like the double decker, like the big one. And they were like, that's not your boat. You booked a different one. Yours is down there. You're on Sea Dog. And I was like, oh, okay. So I walked down the Sea Dog. It's a bright yellow boat. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got on that one, sat very, very front row because I was early. I was with Andrew and Trevor. And then we did the architecture tour, which was great, beautiful, loved it. But then after we were coming out of the river, the tour guide said, put your seatbelts on. I was like, what do you mean? Because at this point, I was freezing and wanted to get off the boat. It was 8 p.m. out on the river in October, freezing cold and super windy, so extra cold. So I was already like this on the boat, holding my hat because it was windy. It was trying not to blow away. And she said, put your seatbelt on. Why? For what? And then she said, it's time for the speedboat portion. And I was like, so they took us out to the lake and there was a speedboat portion. I didn't know I booked that. And you know, we were going so fast. I'm in the front of the boat, so it's like not even hitting the water. It's just like bouncing on the waves like this. And we're in the front getting sprayed by cold water, cold wind hitting us all. We're breaking the wind for all the people behind us. I'm crying because how cold and scared and nauseous I am. I told Andrew to get on the boat. He gets seasick, and I told him, don't worry, it's just an architecture tour. So he's fighting for his life next to me. And I was just like, the whole time. My feet weren't even on the ground. They're flying around. And all I could do was laugh because I was like, all the advice given to me was to just relax the night before the race. And I put myself in the most uncomfortable situation I could possibly be in. I was cold, scared, nauseous, crying. My heart was pounding. So I had a perfect adrenaline rush before the race. I couldn't even take out my phone to record because the wind was so bad I thought my phone was gonna blow away. But I did get a clip after of me still crying.
But there's one of me and there's like 45 of you, and I rebuckle every single...
Yeah, I messed that part up a little bit. Anyways, race morning. Remember how I said if I woke up and I slept more than 4 hours, wasn't constipated, and felt good, I would wear the cute pink outfit? And if I wasn't any of those things, I would wear the black outfit? It's the big day. Bathroom, Cliff Bar, everyone else is sleeping. Guess what fit I chose? Yeah, I actually did get 6.5 hours of sleep, which is a 5-hour PR from my last marathon. That's huge. But I was constipated really bad, and I did feel like this when I woke up. After eating my breakfast in the hotel bathroom on the floor so I didn't wake anyone up, I decided to head down and get some hot tea for the walk at my hotel, which thank you to my hotel because they opened breakfast at 5:30 for the runners. I think a lot of hotels probably did that, but mine specifically did if you want to stay there. It was only like a 15-minute walk to the start line, and it felt fine just walking by myself because there's so many people walking towards the marathon anyways. It was really nice. Security took a good 2 seconds. Porta potty took about an hour. By the time I got in, there was already getting low on toilet paper, so be warned. I got to my corral like a little over an hour early. My wave didn't start till 8:30, and that's one of the last waves. So this marathon starts nice and early. The first wave got to go at 7:30, and then mine was at 8:30, and I think I didn't technically cross till 9, but I was at the end, so that's pretty good. I heard some of y'all running New York don't start till 11:30. I'm praying for you guys. I was chilling in the back of my corral, and I started talking to this really nice man who was next to me. And he was actually all the way from London, and he came with his company who was sponsoring part of the event. But since he was from London, I just loved hearing him talk. He said aluminium, and I was like, yes, I love how you say things. Yes, it's so good. But he was super friendly, and talking to him helped me get through the hour-long wait of being nervous. He made a comment where he was like, yeah, my nerves got to me, so I fell asleep at like 8 p.m. I guess it was just my nerves. And I was like, your nerves do that to you? No, that's not what mine do. But shout out to him. It was nice talking to him for a good hour before the race starts, because once it did start, I did not see him again. He took off. Good for him. He was fast. Now, during the race, it was simply the best experience I've ever had. Now, I've only run one other marathon and then some half marathons, but nothing compared at all. People said that there was going to be people throughout the whole race. Every inch of the 26 miles had people. I didn't need AirPods. I didn't need anything to listen to. I just was running. I didn't look at my watch. I was like, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not going to look at my pace. I'm not going to look at anything. I was just running, looking around at all the people for 26 miles straight. The crowd support is insane, genuinely 10 out of 10. And I pulled out my camera and I was planning to like talk and vlog the whole time. But once I got out there and started and I was like going and saw the crowd, I was like, no, this is definitely a put your phone down and experience type of thing. And I'm so glad I did because it flew by. I watched a lot of Chicago vlogs before this, and there was a couple things that people did not mention that I want to bring up. The bridges have these grates that are really big holes, and you can trip in them, and there's sections with carpet that you can run on, but not the whole bridge is carpeted for some reason, only a part of it. So you have to like get over to the carpeted spot, and it kind of like funnels the runners, or you can just run on the grate, but you got to slow down. I don't know why the whole thing wasn't just carpeted. Also, a lot of people are going to try to cross through the marathon. I've never had obstacles like that. I think a lot of it was spectators, but a lot of it was also just people who live there and just needed to get across the street. And not all of them are good at crossing through runners. A lot of people do the thing where instead of just committing to a straight path, they would run, pause, go back, go forward, go back, go forward, then run, pause. And it was kind of a hazard. There was a lot of people to dodge, and I saw a lot of close calls and some crashes. Also, the streets are kind of curved like this. And if you're running on the outsides, because you're slow like me, your hips might start to hurt because you're going to be on a slant like this. Ask me how I know. I also learned some run-walk etiquette. After the first mile, I noticed people doing this thing where they'd be running, and then before they walk, they put their hand up and then start walking. And I was like, I didn't know that was a thing, so I started doing it. Hopefully, I interpreted what they were doing right, and I wasn't just making something up. But that's what I saw going on, is people would raise their hand and then start walking to kind of give a warning to the people behind them. Like, hey, I gotta stop. So I started doing that. That was fun. Another thing is the mile markers were surprisingly small. Like, I had no idea where I was for just so long, because also my Garmin was kind of glitching out. I didn't know where I was, how far I'd gone, and I wasn't keeping track. And then every now and then I would see a kilometer sign instead, and I would be like, okay, whatever that means. The half marathon sign was big though, so that's the first time I like found out where I was at, was the half marathon, which is good because that's when I was starting to kind of feel like a little bit like, all right, getting a little tired. But luckily that is also the first stop where I got to see Andrew and Trev, who they're the real heroes of this race. They were all over that city. They saw me 4 times. 3 times on the course, 1 time at the finish line. They were clocking steps. They did a half marathon themselves, I'm sure. But they did meet me at the half marathon point with sunscreen and a Cliff Bar, which that Cliff Bar carried me for 13 miles after that, because I just had like a bite a mile, and it was perfect. And the sunscreen cooled me down, also perfect. They saved me. And just like the excitement of getting to see them and them actually like making a sign, and my first time having like actual supporters on the course to see me, I was like, I'm good. I can do the race now. And I just got a second wind and Another thing, there was only gels available at a few aid stations. The race I've done before had gels at pretty much every aid station, where this one, it was only like the end of the race, like there's 3 gel stations. They were Morton gels. However, the first Morton gel station was out of gels by the time I got there. But the second and third, I don't know if there was a fourth, I don't remember, they had gels, and they were good. I never had a Morton gel before, and everyone said don't try anything new before race day, but I tried it, and it was good. I liked that. Oh, I got a Morton gel finally. That shit was so good. I was like, damn, I wish I got more of these. I thought you said they were bad. I never got to try one. I was saying they were all out. I didn't get one. I finally got one. I was like, damn, these are good.
Alright, we're going.
And then the highlight of my run, I want to say this was around like mile 23 or something, which this is part of the run where you're running out and there's a turnaround, so you can see the people who are a mile ahead of you, and you can see the 24-mile marker of people crossing you, and you're starting to get in your head because you're like, I wish I was there. I wish I could just run over the curb and be over there. Someone came up to me and they were like, Brittany? And I was like, yes. And they said, hey, I watch your videos. I was like, her name was Meg, and she ran with me for, I want to say it was a couple miles, and she did my run walk intervals with me because, you know, I'm slow. I can't just keep running like that. So thank you so much, Meg. We had a nice conversation. She was super cool. She was there running for charity, and she was telling me kind of how the charity process was. And I don't remember the specific charity name that she was working with, but it was basically like a suicide awareness or prevention charity. And she had told me that she only needed to raise like $2,000, but she ended up raising like 10. That's amazing. That's so cool. But she was so cool to talk to, and it just like brightened me up so much because I was starting to crash. But she brought me from here to here, and I got to run with her for probably like a mile or two. I'm not sure exactly where. And then around one of the aid stations, we ended up separating, but she was super cool, so thank you so much. And then I got to see Andrew and Trev again, and it was near the end. It was like mile 25. I was like ready to start crying, getting a little emotional. I had a friend from college who I haven't seen from years who was there watching someone else run the marathon, and he messaged me like, oh my God, you just passed me, like, you're doing amazing. And I was like, I'm getting all emotional, getting to the finish. And then there was like a hill at like mile 26, which that also made me cry a little. But it felt so good to get to the finish. And just like my first marathon, when I was getting up to the finish line, I kept doing the, like trying not to cry. But it felt so good to cross. However, when you do cross, it's a long walk until you get the medal, and then you get all your little snacks and stuff, and you get out of the like gated area an extra mile to get out of there, which I get because there's so many runners, they have to keep it moving forward, but as soon as you cross, they're like, keep it moving. And they did take a picture of me just looking absolutely horrible. Also, that was one of the official race photos. I personally didn't want to pay $100 for photos of me looking whack, so here's my watermarked blurry photos from the marathon. And if anyone's curious, my post-marathon meal was Heidi Lau Hot Pot, where they gave me a free drink for the marathon, and I also had more cookies. Now, how did I do? As you might know, my first marathon, I had a goal of just going sub 6 because I wasn't very well trained, and I went 5:59. Yeah, met my goal. This marathon, I went in with no specific time goal. I just said, just go, trust the training, because I actually trained well, and just see what happens. Don't look at my watch. And I finished with a 5:36, which is technically a 23-minute PR from my marathon in February. I'm happy with that, but I am a little mad. I think it could have been sub 5:30 because at mile 7, I had to stop to pee, and there was a line for the bathrooms that took like 8 minutes, and I was so mad because I was like, watch, this 8 minutes is gonna make the huge difference on like me getting into like a next time block. And it did. I swear if I didn't have to pee at mile 7, or if there was no line, I think I actually could have been sub 5:30. That's okay. I still had a ton of fun either way. It was fine. It's only so much you can do when you have 50,000 people who all have to pee. Amazing race, amazing experience. I knew that coming out of Chicago, I would either be extremely inspired again, or I would just be sick of running and need to take a 3-month break of no running again. And thank you so much for training with me for all these weeks, but I do think it is time for a little bit of a break. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're running Phoenix in December. I'll see you for training next week. Oh, and also, after talking to Meg on the course about the charity route, I decided I didn't want to do lottery entry for marathons anymore. I might have already signed up for Chicago Marathon next year with my brother, and I might be fundraising already. I'm running with Team PAWS, which is an animal welfare charity to help support homeless animals, which I picked because I get sad when I think about homeless animals because look at my spoiled cat right now. Look at her. How could she survive without a big couch to sleep on? She's so spoiled, and I get so sad thinking about how miserable she would be if she was homeless, because she would not be able to do anything. She sleeps for 20 hours a day, and she would not make it out there. But yes, I guess I'll have my fundraiser already in the description, but I have a year to start raising money, and I will be back in Chicago, because that is how much fun I had. I was like, I will be back. I will be back next year. And it's actually on my birthday next year. That was the other thing I forgot to mention. Saturday was my birthday, the day before the marathon. For 2026, the marathon's actually on my birthday. And I was like, I will be here. I will be here and back. I will be getting a free marathon treat and a free birthday treat next year. Anyways, thank you so much for training with me all these weeks. I will see you for training for the Phoenix Marathon next week. We will get started. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.